Well, good morning. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It is Thursday, September 21st, 2023, and this is an update for the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment Fleet Response Working Group, all part of the All Hazards Consortium, where we share information across states to better help the coordination between states and also the movement of fleet utility vehicles. Well, we have a potential tropical cyclone, number 16, and that is forming off the southeast coast of the United States. The National Hurricane Center is beginning to issue advisories on this potential tropical cyclone, which is forecast now to become a tropical storm. If it becomes a tropical storm, it will be known as Ophelia, Tropical Storm Ophelia, if it does form. And it looks like it is getting its act together off the southeast coast. Take a look right to my right there. You can see that spinning. I'll move it up just a little bit here so you can see what's going on. There it is, that blob of clouds that you see spinning in the atmosphere there, all developing off the remnants of an old frontal system that has initiated convection, which is thunderstorms, and they're starting to rotate in the counterclockwise fashion, which is a low pressure system. Also, sea surface temperatures are very warm there. The Gulf Stream comes right up through there, and so it's got a lot of heat content that's not really going to mix out in cold water because that Gulf Stream is fairly deep. Let me take you a little bit closer too, as far as the satellite picture goes, and I'll show you what it looks like from the standpoint of this swirl. I was checking out the GOES satellite data, and you can see the swirl in the atmosphere. Let's take it full screen so I can show you what it looks like, and I'll move it up just a tad here. There you go. There's that swirl. That's the surface low pressure system that's really starting to spin up. What's impressive about this is you can already clearly see that rotation there and a lot of thunderstorm activity forming to the east and the north of that center. So once that aligns and the thunderstorms wrap around the central low pressure system there, looks like we could have a tropical storm on our hands. Now, I want to go into GeoCollaborate and show you what this looks like because I've added all the latest advisory information from the National Hurricane Center. I'll back out just a little bit here so you can see what it looks like. Well, there we are in the mid-Atlantic area. And you can see the orange. That is the likelihood of a development of a tropical system within the next 7 days. And guess what? It's developing. So now I can actually turn that outlook off, the tropical weather outlook off, because we have a system that is developing. And now it is located right where that swirl is, where I just showed you on the satellite imagery. And here's the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. So it looks like it's going to have subtropical characteristics over the next 12 to 24 hours. So here it is, which is a potential tropical cyclone 16, which is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's Friday morning with 50 mile per hour winds. So 50 mile per hour winds are expected here off the coast. But then look at the next time frame. The next time frame, by 8 p.m. tomorrow, we're talking tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Ophelia with 60 mile per hour winds, and it's forecast to make landfall in the southeastern part of the Outer Banks of North Carolina as a tropical storm with winds of 60 miles per hour and gusts of 70 miles per hour. So this is going to impact some critical infrastructure, particularly on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, with Route 12 there being very vulnerable to overwash, and also the power infrastructure there. With strong winds, there is often power outages there, and you can see this area that in yellow that the Weather Prediction Center has identified as a potential significant rainfall impacts over the next 1 to 3 days. So I'll back out just so you can see that a little bit more. You can see that stretching from eastern South Carolina, northeastern South Carolina, across North Carolina, the eastern parts of North Carolina, into eastern and southeastern Virginia, the District of Columbia, Maryland, southeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and on up into New York and Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and parts of eastern Massachusetts. So this is going to be a rapidly developing system because we already saw that swirl in the atmosphere. I'll just show that back again. There it is right there. So that's sort of the infancy stages of this low pressure system that's getting its act together and strengthening. You can see the inflow at the low levels here, and then the big thunderstorms that are forming well to the north of the center. Look at that. These are strong thunderstorms, and there is a lot of rain in there. I'll back out just a little bit so you can see the bigger picture. So there it is, and you can see the cirrus clouds are already impacting the mid-Atlantic states, Maryland. They're just high, thin cirrus clouds. You can see the sun through them. It's a beautiful day currently, but as this storm starts to move towards North Carolina, a lot of this rain activity is going to be pushed onshore. We're also going to see some large battering waves. So as far as GeoCollaborate's concerned, we'll be monitoring it. We'll be posting updates. These updates from the Hurricane Center update automatically. But I want to talk about some impact graphics as well. Well, where do we stand in the hurricane season so far this year? Well, we are at 14 storms, and you can see how that compares to NOAA and Colorado State's forecast. We're at 14 right now. We've had 6 hurricanes so far and 3 major hurricanes. So if Ophelia gets named as a tropical storm, that number will go up to 15 total storms. 15 total storms. And then where do we stand in the naming category? Well, I mentioned it's going to be Ophelia because that's the next name in the list. We've gone through all these storms so far, and fortunately, we have only had 3 major hurricanes, and hopefully we won't have any more this season. Now, what about the impacts? Significant impacts to the mid-Atlantic states, including the District of Columbia. So South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, even on into New Jersey, possible tropical storm watches will be issued. And by later today, high winds of 33 to 73 miles per hour would accompany any tropical storm as it makes landfall. Right now, it's a PTC, a potential tropical cyclone, number 16. And if it gets named as it's forecast to become a tropical storm by this time tomorrow, it will be Ophelia. Large battering waves, no matter whether this thing is named or not. This is a storm system that's developing, and it's going to have a wind field, and that wind field is going to be moving towards the coastline. So the Outer Banks of North Carolina, the Sound, Pamlico Sound, Albemarle Sound, all those areas are going to be impacted by the strong winds, where we're going to have strong gusty winds blowing in from the ocean. So Ocean City in Maryland, Delaware, Bethany Beach, Rehoboth Beach, Virginia Beach, the mouth of the bay, even the Chesapeake Bay. Those living along the Chesapeake Bay could see tidal flooding as this system moves up either to the west of the bay or right over the bay. It's going to have strong winds. It's going to be pushing up the bay. So I would expect some storm surge in the Chesapeake Bay. So if you live in any of the nooks and crannies, the rivers, the Magathie River, Severn River, West River, Potomac River, expect water rises. So you're going to want to protect your boats and coastal interests if you have any. We'll be keeping you updated throughout this rapidly developing system, and we will bring you another update likely tomorrow morning. Or later today if it's warranted. This has been an update for the All Hazards Consortium, the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, where we help fleet utility vehicles move across state borders, and also states share information together along with federal agencies. So we'll be back again either later today or tomorrow morning with another update. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This has been an 11 a.m. update on potential tropical cyclone number 16, which could form, is forecast to form, into tropical storm Ophelia by this time tomorrow. We'll see you later.